This is so good.
Yeah.
Sore-sore gini enaknya ngeteh gitu ya. Sebuah permainan untuk mendekatkan anggota keluarga.
Oh, okay, cool. 1.
Haha. 4.
1.
Ada orang tua yang disiplin banget sampai anaknya nggak bahagia. Ada orang tua yang terlalu santai sampai anaknya jadi manja and feel entitled. I think the middle ground is good. Hari terakhir.
Oh yeah, that was lovely. I can't wait to bring the kids back here. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to experience this.
Me too. Viola itu kan suka banget ya yang temanya nature, so alam, dan kadang-kadang kita itu terlalu mikir kalau anak-anak kita itu mungkin harus bersih, harus pristine gitu ya. Tapi kalau misalnya mereka bisa keliling sini, oh, we promise to bring Noam a pine cone ya. Nanti kita bawa satu.
Oh yeah, he asked if we could have a toy when we come back.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I can bring you a pine cone and a stick.
Ya, kita bawain ini aja.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe we'll find a better one.
Nanti yang lebih bersih lah ya.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is so good.
Yeah.
Sore-sore gini enaknya ngeteh gitu ya.
Okay, can I make you a tea, sayang?
Oh, please.
Yes.
Ini udah.
It's like a little camping stuff. Yeah.
Api udah nyala?
Yeah.
Oh iya,
Little
udah
fire.
nyala.
So cute, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wanna have some cookies?
Uh,
Let's wait for the tea, huh?
Yeah, actually sekalian deh, ini kan mumpung lagi afternoon tea gitu, mau kemarin beli dari toko Un. Oh man. Okay. So sayang, for our little picnic, I also prepared. Ini kartu kemarin baru aku beli di resepsionis yang Bobo Cabin. Dan langsung aja kita buka ya. Ini judulnya tentang kita. Sebuah permainan untuk mendekatkan anggota keluarga.
Oh, okay, cool. I
You
love
know
stuff like that.
Gue sama Viola itu sering banget actually main kartu seperti ini. Kalau misalnya kita lagi date night gitu ya. Jadi kita sering
So we
banget.
don't have to be so creative after a whole day of creative work. It's just good to sometimes not having to think of what to talk about.
Exactly. Kayak dari situ gue tahu apa sih bunga favoritnya Viola, teman-teman deketnya Viola, apa sih masalah yang sedang Viola hadapin saat itu yang membuat dia kayaknya lagi kepikiran banget atau apa kayak gitu. And same thing goes to me juga gitu. Pisahkan kedua bagian kartu ke dalam dua tumpukan berbeda. Kartu orang tua sama kartu umum. Ini kartu orang tua sama kartu umum. Oke, got it. Oke. Setiap pemain menjawab kartu masing-masing secara bergiliran. Orang tua mengambil kartu dari tumpukan orang tua. Terlebih dahulu jika sudah habis, maka orang tua bisa mengambil kartu dari tumpukan kartu umum. Anak mengambil kartu dari tumpukan kartu umum. Oke. Mainkan permainan angkat jempol. Pemain terakhir yang kalah mendapat giliran pertama untuk mengambil kartu. Oh,
How does that work?
yeah, like you know the game that we play.
Oh, we do satu or two.
Oke, jadi misalnya satu. Oke. You know that atau tiga.
I won.
Hah?
I won?
No.
No.
Enggak, maksudnya you can press this or this gitu misalnya.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. Oke, coba you go.
And I have to say something?
1 sampai 4.
Oh, now I remember.
Yes.
1.
Haha. 4.
1.
2.
3.
2. Haha.
2.
Okay, you take one
I
off.
take one. Is it my turn or yours?
My
I
turn.
forgot.
2. Okay, so my turn first, huh?
No, I already don't want to play this game anymore.
Seluruh pemain wajib menyimpan dan tidak diperkenankan menggunakan gadget selama permainan berlangsung. So good. Silakan bermain sampai kalian merasa cukup mengenal satu sama yang lain.
Never
never ending.
enough.
Untuk mengakhiri permainan tersedia sebuah kartu final yang harus dilakukan seluruh pemain. Oke, ready?
What?
Kartu orang tua.
So why do I have this card?
Because you just happen to be younger than.
Okay, so I look at it now.
Ya. Apa tuh?
Jika sedang merasa sedih atau gagal, siapa anggota keluarga yang akan kamu telepon pertama kali? Mengapa?
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. Siapa?
It's funny because I would usually not call anyone first, but just first I would process it and bring it to God. I'll pray about it and I'll talk to God about it, and then I think when you come home, before we sleep, I'll probably tell you, or you would ask me, why do you look so sad, or what's going on, I think I would talk about it with you.
You'll call me, yeah? Okay.
I wouldn't call you. I would
Talk to me.
I would wait until you're home and then talk to you.
Mengapa? Why?
Because you understand me.
Done. Okay.
You understand me the most.
Ini udah belum ya? Gimana?
Yeah, I think it's already
Okay.
boiling probably.
Oh
yeah.
Oh ya.
Okay. It's probably a bit too hot now for the tea.
Tapi tinggal dimasukin aja.
Wait. Oh, nice. Look. It's like open tea leaf. Oh, it smells so good. Fruity, citrusy, tropical.
Wow. Smells so good.
It smells really good.
Oke, I got a good one. Menurut kamu, bagaimana seharusnya hubungan ideal antara anak dan orang tua?
What's the perfect relationship between
An ideal relationship.
parents and children?
Ya. Ada orang tua yang disiplin banget sampai anaknya nggak bahagia. Ada orang tua yang terlalu santai sampai anaknya jadi manja and feel entitled. I think the middle ground is good. How would you answer it?
So, okay, I think for having a right relationship between children and parents, the parents need to understand what is it to have children and what is my responsibility, what is my rights as a parent, And I think for me, it really helped me understand the relationship between child and parents so much better when I realized, wow, I have the honor to have this child born into my life, and now I have the responsibility for this child, but it's my honor to just steward this child, to just bring this child for the first, 18 years through this life and grow it and take care of it and enrich it and put in what I can put into this child. But it's not my child, it's God's child. Like it's just lent to me in a way,
Dititipkan ya.
It's dititipkan oleh Tuhan. Yeah, it's just given to me for a certain time. This child doesn't owe me anything, but I have responsibility before God to give my best as a parent. But He will help me. He will help me in it because it's His child. And for me, this has changed my perspective completely. First of all, I don't have the heavy burden on my shoulders anymore because I felt parenting was so hard. Like in the beginning, I felt so much pressure and expectation. I put it on myself. I felt it was such a heavy task to be a parent. But when I understood this concept of how God has given me this child for a certain time, I'm like, wow, first don't have to do it alone, like He helps me. I don't have to control everything because He's in control. And then later I won't have the wrong expectations on my child. My child doesn't have to make me happy. God makes me happy, I have to get my joy from God. My child doesn't owe me for me bringing it into the world because I didn't choose that anyway. It was like God's grace that I could have this child for a certain time. And so I hope that by the time they grow up, they love me and they want to spend time with me, sometimes, but I don't want them to feel like they, now that I have given so much to the child, now it has to work hard to always give back to me and make sure I'm happy. And it breaks my heart to see kids that feel like their biggest goal in life is to make the parents happy.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm like, what? You have such a bigger purpose than just to make your parents happy. it's so sad if you think your parents can only be happy if you are that successful, if you marry the right person, if you have so many children. And it's such a pressure on a child, and it's wrong, because I think God has already a purpose for my child, and it might be bigger and better than just making me happy. And I think a lot of children, they miss their purpose in life because they think that their highest goal is to make the parents happy.
Jadi, from my point of view, aku selalu mikir identitas aku itu ada 4. Pertama, ciptanya Tuhan, anak Tuhan yang sangat disayang dan dicintain. That's first, right? Second, as a husband to you, as a father to our kids, and then yang keempat, as a communicator. Itu kerjaan aku. Nah, yang pertama, apa sih tujuan Tuhan menciptakan aku di dunia ini? That's my purpose. Itu satu. That's always number one. Dan of course, purpose-nya bukan untuk menyenangi hati orang tua atau membanggakan orang tua gue gitu misalnya. Right? Nah, I hope that ketika Mila grow up, mereka juga akan ada this 4 identity. Yang pertama, mereka nggak harus membanggakan orang tua. Tapi membanggakan hatinya Tuhan. Because first, they are also a child of God.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and then Mila is a wife, and then Mila is a mother, and Mila will be whatever job that she's doing gitu misalnya. Tugas kita sebagai orang tua adalah membuat nanti ketika dia tumbuh menjadi anak umur, ketika dia tumbuh dewasa, ya udah dia akan tahu bahwa identitas dia adalah seseorang yang disayangin dan dicintai oleh Tuhan sebagai ciptaannya, sebagai anaknya gitu. That's our job gitu, sehingga dia bisa punya purpose sendiri.
I mean, it doesn't mean I don't want to honor my parents. Like I mean, I still am happy if my parents are happy with my life, right? I mean, of course. You know, it sounds so harsh when I said that just then, but I love my parents like crazy because they gave me such a good start. They're such great parents, and just because they don't control my life anymore, you know, and I'm living somewhere else doesn't mean I don't care for them.
Doesn't mean that you disrespect them.
And I disrespect them, and of course I want their happiness, but I know their happiness is not my job to fulfill.
That's good.
But it brings me also joy when I know that they don't have to worry about me, you know, and they know I'm alright. It brings me joy to know that they're happy that I've chosen a good path in life, and you know, and I have children, a husband, and I'm well, you know. I know they are happy about that, and it gives me peace as well. But it's not my utmost goal in life, you know. Definitely not.
It's getting repetitive.
I just wanted to make sure that.
Jadi sebenarnya aku sendiri juga sempat baca gitu di sebuah buku. Ada 4 tahap actually. Ketika anak umur 1 sampai 5 tahun itu disiplin. Kita benar-benar fokusnya sama disiplin. Gak boleh nih, gak boleh itu. Pokoknya kita benar-benar kayak disiplin banget gitu. 5 sampai umur 11 tahun itu training. Jadi dia udah ngerti tuh, oh harus seperti ini, belajar baca, belajar ngelakuin hal-hal yang mungkin butuh skill gitu ya, itu training years. Abis itu umur 12 sampai 18 coaching. Kita sebagai coach, orang tua itu langsung pakai topi sebagai coach. Mungkin seperti yang kamu bilang kemarin, ketika Mila keluar, abis itu balik lagi, abis itu keluar lagi, abis itu balik lagi. It's like sebagai coach, Mama, what should I do now? Oke, harusnya kayak gini. Oke, keluar. Nah, dia coba eksperimen dan lain-lain. Dia she go through life, dan abis itu, oh ini kayak nggak berhasil, gimana nih? Balik lagi ke coach lagi gitu. Karena in a way dia harus berani menghadapi dunia ini sedikit demi sedikit sendirian gitu. Nah, sama yang terakhir adalah friendship years. 18 tahun sampai seterusnya adalah friendship. Karena banyak banget orang-orang kalau misalnya sampai itu ketukar semua, contoh ketika dia umur 15 tahun baru mulai discipline years. Gak mungkin didengerin gitu. Ya gak sih? Justru disiplinnya itu harus dari umur 1 sampai 5 gitu. Kita benar-benar keras banget.
No, I don't think keras.
Well, disiplin lah.
No, but I think you put it a bit like, don't boleh ini, gak boleh ini. As if we did that with our children.
Gak juga. Tapi
it actually means, discipline means you set boundaries. And you say, this is what we do, this is how we behave, and if we don't do that, there will be consequences. It's not nggak boleh ini, nggak boleh ini. That sounds come on.
Yang ini acceptable, yang ini unacceptable.
Yeah, you teach the boundaries, and children in that age, they kind of test out the boundaries as well, right? Because they don't know, like, and then they need to find out, oh, if I do this, then mommy will be unhappy with me, or I will have to face if I climb up the balcony, then they will close the balcony doors, because then I'm not allowed to go out to the balcony anymore. I mean, that's kind of
kalau misalnya dia lompat dari balkoni, dia bisa mati. I mean, like, udah, kita langsung bilangin terus-terusan gitu, do not jump off the balcony. Tapi gila ya, kartu yang barusan tuh kayaknya sempurna banget ya buat kita, ngomongin di sini gitu. Karena hubungan ideal antara orang tua dan anak. I mean,
it's exactly what we're all about this weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
Maksudnya, Did they know? They put this card in for us.
Dari awal kita datang, kita udah ngomonginnya tentang, Viola baru dari Belitung sama Mila, aku baru dari Ambon sama Noam, and then kita ngobrolin tentang bagaimana kita berdua ini harus sehat banget. Abis itu kalau misalnya mempunyai orang tua yang sehat, anak pun juga tumbuh dengan environment yang sehat juga. Yeah, I don't know. I just love this trip with you. I love this episode of Journey to Love with you.
Me too.
Yeah. Di perjalanan Journey to Love kali ini, kami di Kota Malang. Gue sama Viola menyadari, sebagai pasangan suami istri, kami tidak akan bisa mengelak dari sebuah perubahan dan tantangan ketika memasuki season baru dalam parenting. Ada yang bilang, jika kita tidak berubah, kita tidak tumbuh. Jika kita tidak tumbuh, kita tidak benar-benar hidup. Jadi supaya kehidupan pernikahan kami bertumbuh, kami mau gak mau harus melewati perubahan. Makanya penting sekali untuk kami pergi berdua supaya kita bisa realign purpose kami dalam pernikahan dan membuat fondasi pernikahan kami semakin kokoh. Dan itu juga kenapa doa sangat penting di dalam kehidupan pernikahan kami. Sampai-sampai gue dan Viola malah tergerak untuk mendoakan dan memberkati air terjun Coban Rondo. Karena kita percaya Tuhan sudah menciptakan sesuatu yang indah untuk kita nikmati, bukan untuk ditakuti. Dan gue sama Viola juga terkesan dengan obrolan Lavina, anak pemilik restoran Toko Un. Dia bilang, berhentilah membandingkan perjalanan hidup kita dengan orang lain. Tetaplah fokus pada apa yang menjadi tujuan kita dan berpikir bagaimana kita bisa menjadi versi terbaik dari diri kita. Dan mengingatkan kami sekali lagi bahwa pernikahan kami berbeda dengan pernikahan orang lain. Sehingga fokus kita adalah bagaimana kita terus menumbuhkan dan membuat pernikahan kita semakin sehat tanpa membanding-bandingkan dengan pernikahan orang lain. Jadi, sekali-sekali, go someplace you've never been before. Get lost together. Makan makanan yang kalian berdua jarang makan kalau di rumah. Meet random people. Dan yang paling penting, ambil pelajaran dari perjalanan itu. Karena marriage involves constant learning. Dan kita berharap pengalaman kita ini bisa menginspirasi banyak married couple di luar sana. Because we realize that the destination is not as important as the joy, growth, and companionship throughout the process. Guys, thank you so much for watching our Journey to Love Malang.